Hey, my name is Craig Cunningham, your Santa Fe realtor. And if you're thinking about moving to Santa Fe or renting a house here or whatever, you're going to want to know a lot of the unique architectural terms that we use here in Santa Fe when we're talking about houses. As you know already from looking at images of Santa Fe or being here, our homes and our buildings look like nothing else in the United States or North America, a very unique form of architecture. And so I thought it would be useful because you're going to start hearing builders and real estate agents and anyone talk about all these different terms, and it's good to know what they are. So first of all, let's talk about the two predominant architectural styles of housing in Santa Fe. The first is Pueblo Revival, and we'll show you some images in a minute of Pueblo Revival. And it is a form of architecture that really became popular at the turn of the 20th century by some architects here in Santa Fe, and it took influences from native people's architecture and also Spanish colonial architecture. It's very organic looking. Everything is sort of rounded. It's all either in stucco or Adobe, but it's rounded. Windows tend to be smaller, overhanged with things, and it's a very earthy type of style. The other predominant style here is called Territorial. And Territorial, as the name would suggest, came from when the U.S. territorial expansion coming across and when government buildings were being built, and then it became another popular style for housing starting in the teens and the 20s of the 20th century. And it is known for brick coping across the top. It's all very right angle, very square, so quite the opposite of Pueblo Revival. And it's almost always using white trim work and white columns. So those are the two most popular styles of architecture here. And of course, everything is constantly evolving. The other thing to talk about when people are looking at buildings, they'll often say, oh, is that Adobe? Well, most of the buildings here, especially anything that was built after the the mid part of the 20th century, it's not Adobe anymore, it's stucco. And so stucco is a plaster that is made and troweled onto a home, but the home is actually frame construction. Adobe, on the other hand, is actually a time-honored thing that both the Spanish people brought over here and also the native people were using as well. And it is very labor-intensive as well. It's water, it's clay, it is using some binding materials like hay or straw, things like that. And a lot of the older buildings, especially in the 19th century and early 20th century, were made of solid Adobe. And the walls are incredibly thick. And one of the benefits to Adobe is it has amazing retaining cool in the summertime and retaining heat in the wintertime. So those are a couple of the main things when you're talking about the buildings themselves being Pueblo Revival, Territorial, made out of stucco or Adobe. But as you'll see when you look around Santa Fe, everything is done still in earth tones. And there are a variety of different earth tones. They can be greens, they can be ochres. The predominant style, as you see everywhere, is brown. Buckskin brown is a term that everybody uses. So we're now going to take a little architectural tour of the different types of building elements that you'll see here in Santa Fe. So enough of me, and you'll start to see some interesting types of architectural styles, and we'll talk about that. So let's start talking about the various architectural terms related to houses and other buildings here. One on the outside are canales, and in Spanish that really means little canals. Now, canales here are what in architectural terms for European architecture are downspouts. They are the things that we have flat roofs here. The flat roofs really aren't flat, they slope, and then the water comes into these canales and then down to the earth from there. So you'll see them, they're usually done in wood. Sometimes they'll have some decorative metal with them, but that is the way that we get water off a roof here in Santa Fe and in northern New Mexico. On the interior, you've got some different things that are interesting. One, Vigas, and these are big, heavy beams that were used in the 19th century and still very popular in the 20th century, 21st century here. And Vigas are big, beautiful beams that are used on the interior of houses. They can either be decorative, most of the time for older houses, they're actually support beams as well. And a lot of times you'll see them on the outside of the house, the round end of the beam coming out through the stucco or the Adobe. And these are what, really add an incredible level of charm to Santa Fe architecture. In between the Vigas, a lot of times you'll see these cross type of wood that can be in different colors. And those are called Latillas, and they add a nice, interesting, kind of a herringbone pattern, I guess, if you will, to the style of architecture here. Then, a place to sit, in French it's called a banquette. In northern New Mexico it's called a banco, and a banco is a seating area. Often it's built into an Adobe or stucco frame, and it's essentially a nice seating area. Often they're, we would call them window seats as well. But bancos are an essential element of Santa Fe architecture. Then also you'll see beautiful little carved in elements into the walls, and those are called nichos. And a lot of times with Spanish families in the 19th century and 20th century, you would have the Virgin of Guadalupe, various saints. Sometimes they'd be glass enclosed, and it would be the family Bible where all the family members were recorded. And it's really an interesting style of architectural feature here. And then the thing you probably heard a lot about are Kiva fireplaces. So Kivas, actually, that comes from the native peoples in Kiva. As I understand it, these were structures in places where people came together, and then the term was adopted to the type of fireplace that we have here in northern Mexico called a Kiva fireplace. It is generally shaped like a honeycomb, and then it's known for drawing quite well in terms of creating the fire, because you do the wood teepee style, and there tends to be a narrower flue going up, and it draws the fire and the smoke up through the Kiva fireplace, and that is one of the kind of quintessential styles of fireplaces here in Santa Fe. On the outside, there are often little baking structures called Ornos, Hornos, or Orno, and those were used for baking bread by the native peoples, and they've become very popular as a feature here in Santa Fe as well. And then you get to the beautiful tile work that you see in kitchens and bathrooms, ornamenting a mantle and things like that. And a lot of times that is a specific type of tile called Talavera that comes from Mexico, and it's what you would think of as quintessentially Mexican, beautiful tiles and bright colors, and just absolutely really pretty, and it really warms up and makes a house very colorful. The flooring that was very popular for a long time, it's maybe not as popular as it used to be, are Saltillo tiles. And Saltillo tiles are actually porous tiles that are made, and they're the beautiful red type of tile that you see in a lot of Santa Fe homes, and it's quite an interesting style itself. It's not quite as popular anymore in new builds in Santa Fe, but it is definitely, again, something that is authentically Santa Fe. Also, another thing that's on the exterior of homes are portals. Portals are what we would think of in European architectural terms or American architectural terms as porches. Portals are covered spaces, often off of the back area of homes and looking out into gardens, but also in the front of the house. And one of the things they do, in addition to adding a really nice architectural feature to the home, is they provide shade. In Santa Fe and northern New Mexico, we have more than 300 days of sunshine. And in the summertime, while it's not super hot, it can get warm. So a portal is a place that you can go and get cool, and it's very refreshing, and it adds a beautiful architectural feature to the homes. Now, a lot of homes here, because we're in the foothills of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains and the Jemez Mountains, A lot of homes are built on the side of arroyos. So what is an arroyo? An arroyo is a dry riverbed, and it is something that you see throughout Santa Fe. You can't build in an arroyo, but you can build adjacent to it. And so arroyos, when we get heavy rains, you'll see little rivers going through it. It's also a major traffic way for all the wildlife we have here. And you'll see coyotes, you'll see deer. Every once in a while, you'll see a mountain lion or a bear. I have yet to experience that. I'm not sure. I would definitely want to be up on my terrace looking down rather than being in the arroyo with those creatures. But it is sort of the super highway for animals coming back and forth from the mountains. So anyway, that concludes my architectural tour of Santa Fe and the most important terms that you need to learn about the building styles and the types of features of architecture here in the city, different in the land of enchantment. Thanks so much.